Enter Jim. Me, Jim. What are we doing here?
Enter Vanessa. I told you already, this is your family's reunion.
Yeah, I know that. What are we doing here? What?
Nothing. I told you what we're doing.
They're all here.
Sure. Tonight we want to recount the story of how Jim and Jeanne met.
Oh, that's right. But wouldn't it be easier if they told the story themselves? I mean, we could sit in the back and make little comments as they told it.
Yes. Yes, we could. But then we wouldn't be able to do this fantastic puppet show. I thought it would be great to retell the story from the perspective of each member of the family and what they each remember.
Got it. So all of us are going to put on a play for Mom and Dad about their life. Have you told them yet?
Told them? Who are you talking about? I already told you. We are going to be the ones putting on the puppet show for them. I wish you would just listen to me.
One thing I did hear was that this puppet show is not about us. It's about how my parents met. Can we just tell their story?
That's what I've been trying to tell you.
Okay, where do we start? Enter Dad. The story is easy to tell. She came, I saw, we bonded, we are still in love.
You're supposed to be a member of the audience.
Okay. Enter Craig. My parents met at BYU. Something to do with a dating contest to see which guy could take out the most gals.
Enter Mom. It was during the spring session of BYU. They combined 3 branches together to meet during the spring and summer.
Pretty cute.
You're also supposed to be a member of the audience.
Is it okay if Jeanne does that?
Sure, but you weren't telling the story correctly. Will you just let us tell the story? Enter Jennifer. The way I understand Jim and Jeanne, or Mom and Dad, Grandma and Grandpa met is, well, Dad had a contest to see who could date the most girls in 1 week. Enter Julie. That's what I remember as well. Their ward had a dating competition. Huh. I wish my ward had a dating competition.
That's good.
It fit right into Dad's competitive spirit. I think his #1 priority was to win the competition.
Yes.
Dating the girls came as an added benefit. Enter Brent. I've heard various versions of this story. It was an event that occurred, the men asking out as many girls as possible to encourage socialization. Event? Competition? What's the difference? There's a big difference. First of all, an event...
Boys, can we get back up on topic? Let's agree on this. Dad was dating a lot of girls in a lot of short time.
Yes.
Enter Damka. Yeah, but he asked out a ton of girls out, and they all said no.
They were all smart. Like I said, she came, I saw, we bonded, we are still in love.
Wait, so dating in singles wards actually works?
Dad spent most money on Mom. End of story.
Our branch was 1/3 boys and 2/3 girls. Daddy was ambitious. He began asking all the girls out, sometimes 5 or 6 on a date.
Dad had to spend at least 10 cents on each girl in 10 minutes. My mom was 20 minutes and 20 cents.
Yeah, but does it count if he was rejected by all the other girls? Yes, it still counts. But I didn't want ice cream. I wanted to eat pie. So after the cookery, I had pie. It was a nice visit. But mind you, I was the only girl on the date. After 66 or somewhere around that number of dates, Daddy won the contest. Plus, I was interested in another young man. His name was...
Mom,
Yes?
we're telling the story. Have a seat.
Well, if you tell it correctly, I wouldn't have to speak up. 66 dates? Wow. I remember he was still interested in her after the competition ended, and that they kept seeing each other around campus. Mom said that she saw him one night when she was leaving the BYU library at 9 p.m. He was going in as she was coming out. Dad went over to her house at the end of the semester. She wasn't there. She went out with some friends, blah, blah, blah. You know the rest of the story, just the way the dad told it. Time for dessert.
Mom needed to do certain things before she could leave for the semester. She had to scrub the toilets. And the large back vanity with 4 sinks and mirrors, and there were 2 bathrooms in a house with 10 women.
Okay, so Dad was cleaning, and then Mom showed up and asked him what he was doing.
She had to get them done before she could leave, so I decided to do it for her in hopes of seeing her one last time before we left for the summer. When she came home, I was almost done.
Enter Melanie. Mom thanked him and stayed up late to make him cookies. Little did she know she'd be doing that for many years to come. That summer, Mom was preparing to go to the Hill Cumorah pageant in New York for 3 weeks. She was going to perform with the missionaries from the New York mission, the same mission her parents served in.
Dad knew Mom was going to the pageant. He also knew his sister Mary was going, so he wrote her a letter for Mary to give to Mom.
I didn't say that.
At the end of the letter, there was a short, sweet quip like the following. Remember to be like the teapot. It always keeps whistling, even when it's up to its neck in steam. Ah, still gets me to this day. Yeah, but Mom thought Dad was nice to talk to. She didn't write much during the summer, so Dad thought it was over and moved on. No, I saw Dad at the pageant activity when he was dropping off Mary. He did not say anything to me.
Mom had 1 semester left at school. She was ready for her power suits and working in a nice office. Her dad gave her a blessing and she felt strong that she needed to go finish her degree.
So the night Mom went back to Provo, she was talking with her roommates about their summer. The doorbell rang. And who was it? Dad.
But he didn't ask for Mom. He asked for Diane.
Is that one of the girls that rejected him during the competition?
You bet.
No, she really liked Dad. I don't know if she made it on the spreadsheet. But they ended up talking about Sunday school records in the other room. He came over again on Sunday. There was a large fireside that night. Mom was hoping to walk with Dad.
Yeah, but some other desperate dude showed up and in front of everyone asked if she would go to the fireside with him. This dude would drop flowers on people's doorsteps to get women to like him. Dad was left to his previous event ways. He went to the fireside with 6 girls and had a good time.
Nice.
Later that night, Dad called Mom. The desperate dude was still at the house. Mom asked her roommates to keep him busy. Dad asked Mom to go to the BYU football game next Friday. I was a bit jealous of my roommates and Diane liking him. Plus, he was a teeny bopper and a bit of a nerd. I don't remember much of the game, just the company I was with. Mom fell hard for him. On their walk home, she said, "I think I'm falling in love with you."
In Harrison Ford style, Dad said, "Go ahead and fall."
Do we get a copy of this?
So we can fix it?
A few weeks later, Dad met Mom's parents at general conference and they really liked him.
In Dad's romantic way, he proposed to Mom on the drive home. while driving in the car under an overpass. And she said yes.
It's like crossing the railroad tracks.
While Mom was finishing her last semester, she was planning the wedding, getting ready to move to California for Dad's internship, and making her wedding dress.
Mom and Dad got sealed for time and all eternity on December 19th, 1975 in the Logan, Utah temple.
When we were in the temple, I looked over at Dad. I was so happy that he would be my husband. He was glowing, but I knew I was glowing even more.
Whew. I think I like Dad's version of this story more. Yeah.
And it was 75 days.